That's what we're after. The smallies. Let's get them. All right, just so there's fair warning, this is a trigger warning. Because obviously there were some people on Facebook that got triggered by the fact that, yes, I am using a baitcaster to throw a Ned rig. So I'm using the Bass Pro Megacast, which is probably the cheapest baitcasting combo they sell, to throw this 1/5 ounce Finesse Shroomz with a ZMan TRD in the copper truce. And yes, I'm catching fish on it. Even though I was told you can't catch fish on it because, well, you don't feel all the necessary little nuances and whatever. Guess what? Catching fish on a baitcaster using a Ned rig. That's what we're after. The smallies. Let's get them. All right, so this one here was not on any of my recommended baits. It was actually on the Ned rig. Go figure. Like I said, don't discount some of those other baits. You'll still get them. Let's let him go. Thanks, buddy. Now you'll see me pause here because I got a text from Randy over at Scales and Tails Outdoors. So here I am returning his text. Then I get a return text and you'll see me here checking my Fitbit for the message. And that slow, short pause causes this. I know what you're thinking. Holy smokes, look at the size of that smallie. Wait for it. Well, definitely not what I'm after out here, but hey, I'll take it. So now that you've seen that you can throw a Ned rig on a baitcaster, let's take a look at some of the techniques I use to catch more fish. Now the first technique we're going to go over is the hopping technique. And this is where once it's cast out and it hits the bottom, what I do is I give it a couple little pops, retrieve it a little bit, let it hit and stick, then pop it again, retrieve, wash, rinse, and repeat. This next technique is one of my all-time favorites and probably what I have caught the most fish on, and this is the twitch and drag technique. What I do is once I cast it out there, I give it a few twitches and I drag it along from left and right, and what I'm trying to do is give that fleeing bait fish profile, and it seems to work really, really well. I get hit on it from switching from side to side because there's a short pause when I go from left to right. Now, a lot of times I get hit on the initial drop once I cast out on the Ned rig. So what I like to do is once I cast it out there, is to do a hit and stick technique. What that basically is casting it out there, letting it hit, sticking, and then bring it back up with a couple pops, let it hit back down at the bottom, let it stick and sit for a minute, give it a pause, and then give it a few more twitches, wash, rinse, and repeat again. I also do a lot of pitching and flipping underneath docks and underneath piers, and this is something where you have to get that feathering down with your thumb or else you're going to get some backlashes. But it's a very, very effective technique. And I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you that, yeah, you can just slow drag this thing, especially across the sandy bottom areas like out here at Brandenburg Park. I hope this helped you and made you realize that you can throw a Ned rig on a baitcaster. And I hope it gave you some tips on how I approach my Ned rig throws. And you can get on fish after fish, after fish, after fish. And yes, after fish. So thanks for watching Live to Fish. And don't forget, throw that Ned rig on a baitcaster. See ya.